Today we are going to discuss about the NAM movement or the non-aligned movement. Non-aligned movement in short form, it is known as NAM. What is this NAM? How did we get the approach of this non-aligned movement? Actually, literally meaning here, non-aligned movement means here not to align with any of the groups. The meaning of not to align with any of the groups, with whom we are not going to get aligned anything. What are the other groups that are in existence? As soon as we got independence, we are the newly independent nations. We remember the flashback of the World War II. The World War II came to end in 1945 and we got two emerging superpowers. One is USA, the other block is USSR. Now, these two superpowers start to gain control over a group of nations. Like for example, the USSR is having hold over Eastern Europe. And as they got hold of the Eastern Europe, there are some around 19 to 20 countries which are supporting, like Poland, Ukraine, Czechoslovakia. All these countries are supporting to the USSR and they are getting support from USSR, and the ideology what USSR supports is communism. So now this is the context of USSR emerging as superpower bloc. Coming to USA superpower role, USA is able to control the western region, the west of Europe, the Atlantic region, the down part of the North America, South America. All these regions are influenced by the ideology or the support of USA. And we have to remember here, the point is that USA was the only country which could not get much affected by the Second World War. Coming into reality here, yes, USA also participated in the Second World War, but in actual terms of loss, the highest loss was achieved for USSR when compared to USA. One reason why it did not get any loss is that the main fight of the war could not take place in the land of USA. And moving on to the concept of the ideology, the democracy and capitalism are the ideologies which are supported by USA. Now, the USSR is one block and USA is one block. We have two power blocks surrounding the entire other group nations. Now, it is the time period after the Second World War that many of the Asian and the African countries are turning into independent nations. Now, moving on to the context here, what is the solution for non-aligned movement, or what is the purpose for the emergence of non-aligned movements concept? Now, it is like this. See, this is the block of USA, this is the block of USSR. So, here are the independent nations. Now, the two superpower blocks, that is USA block and USSR block. Now, we are in the position here, the newly independent nations. Now, we either have to choose the choice of joining into this block or into this block. So, in suppose if you join towards the block of USA, then automatically you get enmity with the group of nations which are in the USSR. Now, at the same time, when we are joining into the USSR block, automatically you get enmity from the USA block. So, in order to avoid this kind of war atmosphere, and here we have to importantly consider that what is the main purpose of joining either USA or USSR. The main purpose of USSR is its ideology is to support communism and socialism, whereas USA supports democracy or capitalism. But in actual reality, many of the nations which got independence from after the Second World War, from Britain, France or any other nations, they were colonized for many hundreds of years and there was complete poverty. We need a solution for eradication of poverty. We need strong measures to develop our nation in all terms, like politically, economically, technologically, everything. So any of these issues are not addressed either in the USSR bloc issue or in the USA issue. Now, as to provide an alternative for this, Jawaharlal Nehru along with his team members initiated a new development or a new bloc for the newly emerging nations, that is NAM, the short form for non-aligned movement. So in this way the non-aligned movement was established. How did non-aligned movement get established? How many members joined in this group? Who are the key founding members? What is the present status of this? What are the guiding principles of non-aligned movement? What are the positives and the negatives of the non-aligned movement? We will discuss. So who are the key members who started the non-aligned movement? We have the three different nations coming together who are newly independent nations and started the non-aligned movement. We have to feel proud that even the Indian Prime Minister was one of the key founding member of the non-aligned movement. This was started by the countries of India, Egypt and Yugoslavia. We have the leaders from India, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, then Gamal Abdul Nazir and Joseph Broz Tito. These three initial leaders joined at Indonesia capital Bandung in the year 1955 and started the movement of NAM. So these were the key members who started the non-aligned movement. The first group is India, Egypt and Yugoslavia. The three leaders or the statesmen of three groups like Jawaharlal Nehru, Gamal Abdul Nasser and Joseph Broz Tito came together at Bandung in Indonesia in 1955. They started the non-aligned movement. This was a clear-cut measure to show the way to the newly independent nations who are emerged or in Confucius state, whether we have to join the communist bloc or the American bloc. They have provided an alternative for them to join the non-aligned movement. And what are the guiding principles of non-aligned movement? The basic guiding principles of non-aligned movement is, the first one is cooperation. Second one is no Cold War concept. Third one is no military race. See here, the first one is the cooperation. The newly independent nations of Asia and Africa need the support and cooperation from both the groups, either from the USA bloc or the USSR bloc, and get development from their ground level, because they were the colonial countries who have suffered for many hundreds of years. So automatically, if you are a member of NAM, the countries which are already independent and members of NAM will support the newly joining member and will try to get them help whichever is necessary at whenever point of time. In this way, the main key concept is cooperation between all the members of the NAM, as well as getting support from the power blocks if necessary at that point of time, and saying no to Cold War, because USA and USSR are seriously indulging themselves in the concept of Cold War and taking the sides either in the proxy war or taking one side and doing the wars in this way. So these people in the NAM clearly mentioned that we won't be the part of any Cold War issues, either in the part of Vietnam, Greece, Turkey or any other parts. And moving on to the last one, we shall not join any of the military groups, so that we don't run for the military weapons or the military arsenal, because we don't have that much kinds of funds to buy the military equipment and store it wherever it is better to invest that amount in the welfare activities so that the nation can develop and cherish. These are the main guiding principles of NAM, and these are the key members who founded the non-aligned movement. So these were the guiding principles of NAM what we have discussed just now. Now moving on to the conferences. The first conference of NAM was held at Belgrade in September 1961, and initially we had the members of nearly 25 countries attending the meet. So NAM started to grow its importance and it started to attract the newly independent nations. And moving on to this, the next greater step is that, and we have the observers for this now. At present the strength of NAM is nearly 120 member countries and 17 observers. See here, we have to appreciate the state of condition of NAM right now, because the highest number of the group leadership is under NAM. The USA has having only the members of 30 members of its group, or USSR is having less than 25 members. But moving on to the NAM group, we have nearly 120 member nations, either they are developed countries, developing countries, or underdeveloped nations. Leaving on to the developmental status now, the total number of membership is 120 members and we have 17 observers for them. The 17 observers are given, the superpowers are given observer status, and the countries which are developed countries, which are economically, militarily strong, were given the economic status plus the observer status for them in order to check if any kind of disturbances are found in the NAM group. Now what happened for the NAM for its success? Is it the NAM successful or a failure? But actually, when NAM was started initially, we have the blocks of USA, USSR hating the group of NAM, because NAM is considered as an anti-group of either for USSR or for USA. The initial period up to 1960s, none of the groups of the superpowers have either supported them or respected them at any point of time. As the time passed on, and whenever there is any trouble for peace, the NAM offered her office to solve the issues and to negotiate the problems very clearly. So after slowly understanding what is the concept of NAM, both the superpowers came down, but they played all the games whatever necessary for them to destroy the NAM, but they were not met to their success. Yes, they had their influence on that, because USSR started to put its net in the disturbing the members of the NAM. In the same way, USA also kept its net in disturbing the members of the NAM, and initially they were successful to take away some of the members of NAM towards their side and got them side, prove that they are in majority than the USA, or USA taking a member and proving that they are able to control the other nations also. But in actual reality, NAM also could not reach to its success, because there are some negative points even for NAM also. The negative points are, the first one is no economic stability. The second point is no control. See, economically any of the nations of the NAM were not so strong that they can lend support for the developing nation whichever is required for them. For example, if any nation needs some 10,000 crores of fund or loan amount, it cannot be granted by any of the nations of the NAM. So this was one of the factors which make the NAM to not lead its successful extent as far as it's expected. And moving on to the next one, we have no control on the members. Even though NAM is established, all the members are the signatory members, and we have huge number in the NAM group, but we can't control the NAM members by not asking them not to move out from the NAM rules and regulations, or getting influence from USA or USSR either for the economic aid, military aid, or for political support, whatever may be the condition or the solution of the problem whatever they are facing. But NAM is not able to provide any alternative for them for financial assistance or for political resolution. Only thing NAM can do is, it is an alternative not to join into the Cold War concept or in the military race, but only fact is that it is just a group without no funds, no strong leadership. This could be one of the reasons why the NAM has failed rather than leading to its extent. But it is a good initiative taken by the leaders of Jawaharlal Nehru, Joseph Broz Tito and Gamal Abdul Nasir to provide an alternative for the newly developed nations at that point of time. But right now, NAM is a good group where we don't have the two superpower blocks right now. So even in UN also, we have the hold of NAM larger than any other groups or even for the bit of power nations.